I'm Chris Williams from Cyclone Fanatic and a proud Iowa State graduate from the class of 2007. No one shows up like Iowa State fans.
And Cyclones support Cyclones on and off the field.
Your gift can provide scholarships to students, fund groundbreaking research. We could even drum up opportunities for the marching band. Visit MoveWhatMatters.com to learn how you can make an impact today.
You are listening to Let Him Cook. I'm Dylan Coon. As always, joined with Nigel Dyson. And Nigel, when Iowa State needed optimism the most, this Iowa State men's basketball team delivers. For all the Cyclone fans of every sport, it's been a long 72, coming up on 96 hours right now. I want to shout out Chris Williams, Jake Brenn, Rob Gray, the entire group at Cyclone Fanatic that's been covering the coaching change, and Matt Campbell and Jimmy Rogers. They've been doing an incredible job. Those guys have been basically working nonstop through the weekend. So I want to shout them out. But we're here to talk about basketball. And boy, I was texting you this morning. Every national outlet is talking about the Iowa State Cyclones today to kind of start the work week. It's really it's crazy to me that this game was on Conference Championship Saturday. And not only that, the two best games, Iowa State and Purdue and Michigan State and Duke, were going on at the same time. I texted you right before tip and I was like, brother, Godspeed. What an 11 a.m. hour in the Nigel Dyson household.
Yeah, no, it was it was funny because obviously Iowa State, they pulled away pretty quickly, especially in the second half. But the Duke and Michigan State game was a lot more neck and neck. And if you're a hoop head, you know what's happened in a few neck and neck Michigan State games. So a little bit of trauma always comes up to grips with me. So I had to tell my mom and my brother, I need some quiet for the last 2 minutes. No one talk. And let me just feel this. And but yeah, by 1 p.m. on Saturday, I was feeling pretty good. It's not every day where both teams can handle their business, but no one handled their business on Saturday like Iowa State did. Maybe Arizona because they 30-pieced Auburn, but I don't want to take the spotlight away from us and what we did on the road at Purdue. It was nothing short of spectacular.
Yeah, Arizona now the number one team in the AP Top 25. Iowa State jumped all the way to 4 after being at 10 last week. And then my Bible, what I go to every single day during college basketball season, KenPom has us at number 2, which is the highest Iowa State has ever been in KenPom history. So what all that boils down to is Iowa State went into Mackey Arena and did something unprecedented. You haven't seen a team do that in Mackey in ever. You hear all the time about Big Ten teams saying get us out of Mackey. I saw Big Ten coaches giving advice to the new coaches, Nico Medved and Ben McCollum. And I think Hoiberg was it's really hard to play at Mackey. Iowa State made it look pretty easy. And like you said, the first half is back and forth. And this Purdue team has 4 seniors. 3 of them have been there all 4 years together. Fletcher Lawyer, Braden Smith, Trey Kaufman-Renn, Oscar Clough, Braden Smith. Can I get on a soapbox about Braden Smith real quick, Nigel?
Please.
He does everything so cute. I think he knows how to get the highlight, and he can make every play on a basketball court, and I understand that. He can make every pass. He can do it every kind of way. He can make that little fade on the baseline. But the thing I loved about Iowa State Purdue is Tamin Lipsey would come right down on the other end. There was one Braden Smith does a no-look pass to the corner, or maybe it was in the lane, guy missed a shot. That doesn't even show up on a stat sheet. Now you just look stupid. Tamin Lipsey comes right down on the other end, goes past between the legs. It was either Buchanan or Jefferson. It was just a straight roll to the basket, assist. I felt like Lipsey took that matchup personally, and they didn't really guard each other one-on-one that much. But like that was the matchup I was most interested in, because I think Braden Smith is widely regarded as the best point guard in college basketball. And I think Tamin Lipsey took some objection to that kind of notion. I don't think Tamin Lipsey backed down at all in this fight.
Yeah. No, and it's a great point you bring up, because like you think about Tamin and Braden Smith, if you rewind 4 years ago to their freshman years, they were put in the same scenario where they're having to carry and lead a very like rich in basketball history program, you know, that like given the keys as soon as they got into the door. And to see them both handle that role year in and year out with grace. I mean, Braden Smith's already been to a national championship. Taman's still, you know, searching for that, obviously. But just to see them kind of carry the same pressure, it's kind of like they mirror each other a lot. So it was really fascinating to like kind of really see them, you know, go head to head. And I could tell Taman is so, you know, quiet and kind of doesn't let his emotions rattle him, that he's not going to like make it extremely obvious that he's making something personal, but you can tell by his play and the extra effort plays, like you're saying, he's trying to cut off and kind of take a bit of Braden's swagger away in kind of anticipating the flashy stuff, and obviously him trying to make the highlight plays. So it really was cool to see, you know, Taman really get a matchup, not only with one of the best guards in the country, but a guard that mirrored him so well. And he won the matchup without a doubt. Like I and forget the comparing scoring, whatnot. You talk about the impact on a game and how it contributes to winning. Like there was no question that Taman made his impact and got on a bus and headed home and turned into an iPad kid with his wife Samantha. I mean, it's the way he makes it look so easy is unreal. If I was him, I would have been at Patty's till 3 a.m. and I know they close at 2 a.m., but I would have been closing shop. Okay. Because he's better than me. It was awesome to see that matchup and to see Taman come out on top and lead his team to, you know, not only one of the biggest wins of the year, arguably, but also like it really was a wake up call to the rest of America. I think year in and year out, no matter how good we've been, people have still counted us out at the beginning of the year. Like it's like, I don't know, will they do it? And then I think Vegas was kind of a wake up call, and then pause, but we shook the bed on Saturday. We Iowa State went into Purdue and they were shaking their bed. That was the biggest wake up call they've probably gotten in their 4-year span. That group of seniors there. So it was awesome to see, and hopefully we can carry this momentum going forward.
If you don't know, now you know. And Tyrese Halliburton also sitting courtside. That was iconic. And I think like Tamin Lipsey hit him with the call God, and that was like one of the only things I had to celebrate when I was a student at Iowa State was Tyrese Halliburton. And when he was hitting call God on teams his sophomore season, when he was kind of the guy before he got hurt, that was my holy grail. It's a sad holy grail at like such a good basketball school. But like Tyrese really was so much fun to watch. And then Taman said, I think in the post game, that Tyrese went to another away game. I'm trying to think of like somewhere that would be close to Indiana, or maybe he was just in like the right town at the right time. But anyways, he was like, the last time Tyrese came to a game on the road, we lost by like 25. And he was like, I want to make sure that didn't happen again. And I think it's just really cool that
I think it was like BYU.
That's what I
think
wondered.
It was at
like
BYU.
Utah, like maybe he was at a Jazz game.
Like they were playing the Jazz. It was somewhere out west. It was either Arizona or BYU, but I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
Okay. And anyway, like I just know like Taman grew up watching Iowa State basketball, obviously being a kid from Ames, but it's times like that where you're like, he really is a fan of Iowa State basketball. Like he's just hitting the same celebration that like the guy was doing when he was in high school. Like you can just tell that like Iowa State basketball resonates with Taman. And also like that was his first game back. He hasn't played since St. John's. And then to be thrown into like a starting point guard on the other side is the best point guard in the country at one of the best home arenas in the country. And then for Tamin Lipsey to just go out and handle business. Like that's just who he is. I mean, but it is, you can't overstate how impressive that performance was.
Yeah. And the game is so important too, because there's so many layers to individual performances. Like I sit here and can confidently say, it's obvious, as much as we can rave about Taman's performance and the job he did on Braden Smith, the MVP, in my opinion, was Milan. Like to actually come out here handles some of the best wings in the country, not only on the offensive end, but also on the defensive end. I think he was great in help defense. As a whole, we were great in help defense, but he really showed spurts of like showing his impact on the defensive end, which was always a big question mark on this pod and, for our fan base when it came to him. But like to kind of come out there, hit big shot after big shot, and really just not, fold under pressure. It was really refreshing to see. Like, I think he made a huge statement, for him in the sense of being, he's one of the best shooters in college basketball. I think that's not a crazy thing to say anymore. And, to add the pump fakes and the Dirk game, it's so polished now. It was solid his freshman year, but to see the jump he's made in 2 years to the second he gets the ball on the wing, Kay Kelderman gets up, puts his hands behind his back and just wants to watch. Like, yep. It was hilarious. It was poetic. It was awesome. It was awesome to see. And yeah, no, I was just very, if you're talking about anybody's performance outside of Taman's that really like stood out, it was hands down Milan. And then obviously everyone else did their thing too. Again, Killian Toure, not afraid of the moment, walks into Purdue, picks up Braden Smith full court. And here's another thing I wanted to hit on too. The impact that Toure has this season is insane. I could not imagine being Braden Smith, having to guard Taman. It's a pit bull with a headband on. Like, that's already a big task. He's doing his thing. He's dishing. He's scoring. All that good jazz. Now Braden, despite how good of a point guard he is, he's getting picked up 90 feet by Killian Toure. Like, I would be exhausted. And you could tell by the second half, it felt like they kind of just threw in the towel. We outscored them by 20 points. I mean, it wasn't a joke, but it was just like, it was amusing how quickly you could really see like the air just leave Purdue. And that dynamic of how solid Toure is as a defensive guard as early on in his career, it's what makes this team, I feel like, a national contender. Like, we had Taman last year, we had Milan last year, but to add a Patrick Beverley type defender to this team, Lord have mercy, someone get a towel because I'm sweaty, Dylan.
Yeah, Killian's legit. And I wonder, too, it's like, I don't know how much college basketball they're watching over there in France. And, like, I'm sure when you just walk into Mackey Arena, you're like, okay, this is a little bit different than what I've been accustomed to. But I hope he's just going in there with the mindset of this is literally just another game. Like, I know they're good. We're good. I'm going to go play basketball. Like, the moment didn't seem too big for him. And as, like, a freshman – and, like, that's a huge moment. That's the number one team in their home arena. And, yeah, like you said, just to have the mindset of, like, it's just another game. Like, I'm going to go out there and play the same way I always do and not be, fazed by any of this. And going back to Milan, like, he's always had that toolkit, even since he was a freshman. He's had the footwork. He's had the fades. But there's just, like, a level of execution to it now where it's just, like, he put it all together. I mean, you could see the vision, but like he's finally to a point where it's just like, what's about to happen and you can't stop it. Yeah. And like, that is truly like the Dirk element to his game. It's like everybody knew what Dirk was about to do. It wasn't a guessing game. It was just like, he was still going to hit that shot and you were just going to have to deal with it.
And that's the thing, like to be polished in it as a freshman is one thing, but what comes with the confidence is like his entire demeanor has changed in a sense of like, even in this photo, he just looks composed because he knows what's about to happen. So does number 30 on Alcorn State. And guess what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
30, you could have done anything in the world and you
could have put a ladder up and it wouldn't have mattered. You could have stood up on a ladder, put your hands up. He's still going to shoot it and it's probably going to go in. Like to see just the players that these guys as 3 and 4 year, basketball players are, it's unbelievable. Like it really is. And to piggyback off of your Killian, like not being afraid of the moment, I think Taman and Killian are like the perfect balance of not being afraid of the moment. Taman is from Ames. He has all the pride in the world for Iowa State. He wants to shock the world in this jersey. And then Killian is like, you're right. From a basketball perspective, yes, they watch basketball in France. It's huge in the pros and whatever leagues they have going on there, especially Wemby and whatnot. But to see to not have, I guess, the past knowledge of what Purdue is or what certain basketball environments are. You have the privilege to just walk into an arena and just play. None of that extra mental game is going on with you. And again, Taman is, like I said, the polar opposite, where he can essentially just keep composed and not let the moment kind of ruffle his feathers either. But to see kind of like the best of both worlds come together and do the unthinkable, I think that's where you find the perfect storm. And it's really cool to see kind of how they complement each other. And really too, like from an offensive perspective, like as much as he wasn't afraid of Braden Smith in that challenge of picking him up 90 feet, he did his thing on the offensive end. He's hitting pull-up 3-pointers. I mean, he's pull-up middies. Like his game is polished for a freshman. So if we can keep him for more than a year, we're lucky, because I wouldn't be shocked if he's on a few draft boards by the end of the year with the way he's playing. But just, man, I mean, Jefferson, he just had to show up. Blake just had to show up. Just be yourself. Like Milan had a little bit of an out-of-body experience, and it just, I don't know, man. 20 points, it's like, yeah, it's 20 points, but 20 points against Purdue on the road, like, I don't know, man. That's an impressive 20 points out of Milan, and just overall, just a really good, team win. And I hope our best basketball is still in front of us at the end of the day.
And like early in that game, Fletcher Lawyer was matched up with Milan, and I was like, Let's get Momcilovic the ball a little bit. And no offense to Fletcher Lawyer, he's a great wing, but he's not known for his one-on-one defense. And Milan's probably got 4 or 5 inches
3 or 4 inches on him for sure.
I mean, it looked like a power forward against a shooting guard. And I understand they're both wings, but I was like, I think I found a mismatch. And like that game, it just like. The defense, like you said, I watched a great kind of film room tape on the help defense. And like Purdue did a good job of getting the ball around and moving without the ball. And they missed shots that I would guess Purdue would usually make. They missed some wide open threes in the first half. But everything was uncomfortable. Nothing was like an easy gimme. There was one. And something Purdue does really well is they make a defensive rebound feel like a live ball turnover. They get that rebound, and Braden Smith is pushing that ball so fast that it feels like a live ball turnover situation. And Joshua Jefferson also just coughed up the ball a couple times at the start of the game, mostly because Braden Smith was stealing it away from him. And that's like where Purdue is going to get you. They're going to move the ball really fast, and if you can't keep up. But anytime Iowa State was able to set their defense in a half-court set, forget about it. Like you said, like Milan, I don't think I understood how good his off-ball defense was until you see him taking away the short roll, so it's nothing. You're forced to kick it to the corner, or you're forced to do a cross-court path, which sometimes they could, and they did, and then they would miss a three-point shot. But it was just like nothing was easy. And to do that for 40 minutes against one of the best offensive teams of the past – 4 years. And the ingredients are still there for Purdue. The same guys that were at a national championship 2 years ago are on this team, minus Zach Edey. And of course, Purdue has some guy that's 7'4" and was just catching lobs because he's 8 inches taller than everybody. So it's like, it was just like incredible to see Iowa State in that setting perform the way they did. And like you said, not everything went right, but to still win by 23 points at Mackey.
Yeah.
Insane.
Well, and again, that's probably one of Purdue's worst losses in recent time, at least at being ranked number 1. But I think the correct stat I read was like that was the worst loss that a number 1 team had suffered in like the history at home in the history of the sport.
I think it was like UConn Vanderbilt. It's tied, but like still that like the number 1 team doesn't lose at home by 23 points. That just doesn't happen.
And I saw a statistic that, okay, here we go. Iowa State's 23-point victory over number 1 Purdue is tied for the largest margin of victory against a number 1 team on the road. Yeah, that's unreal.
And on top of that, that's not even the most points that TJ Altenberger has beaten a number 1 team by. We went to Kansas City and beat Houston by 29 in the Big 12 tournament championship game. So not only is
maybe that's just our thing.
He's beat a number 1 team 3 times at Iowa State. And 2 times it's been by 20 plus.
Yeah.
Keep them coming.
Well, and again, I think like it's gonna take a few of these for people to get it, because I think by the name Iowa State, people, first of all, people already get us mixed up with Iowa, so they think we're rolling out 5 white guys that all look like Joe Wieskamp, and that's just not the case. You know, we got some dogs over here. I don't know about those boys in Iowa City, but we got some dogs over here, and like the reality of it is, I just think a lot of teams go into games with us passive, and they look at the first media timeout and they're like, "Why am I exhausted?" Because you weren't ready. You didn't get your sleep. You didn't eat breakfast, and now we're eating your lunch. And it was awesome to see. And another thing too I read was like at Purdue, because of the academic strain that a lot of kids are under, being engineers and whatnot, it's, I think, arguably like it has the most depressed kids on campus, like in America. Sorry,
we didn't help.
My bad.
Yeah.
David Lipsey said, "Hold my beer."
Yeah.
Oh my God. No,
right before finals week too. I mean, that is.
Yeah. I mean, this is like the gauntlet of studying for finals. So could you imagine like being in the thick of it and thinking, at least I get some release. I get to decompress at a basketball game on a Saturday with the boys. And now you're sitting in row 13 crying. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. On the bright side, though, go ahead.
There were some sad tosses to the Purdue student section in the second half of that game. Some cameraman was doing the devil's work because he was finding the saddest group of students and just a nice push zoom. Oh, tough.
He's
tough. A lot of shame, Cobras.
It's CBS Sports. They're practicing for March. They know what they're doing. And as a cameraman yourself, if you're ever on the road for a big game for Iowa State, because I could anticipate that KCCI will have you travel for a few games. Who knows? I would only hope that you do the same as a cameraman yourself. Get a few B-roll shots of just sad fans after having to be guarded by Killian Toure for 40 minutes. It's chef's kiss. But no, yeah, honestly, I was elated on Saturday. Nothing could take me down. Even honestly, the feeling's still there, and I hope we can just carry this momentum and continue to play, high level basketball at the end of the day.
And the other kind of like 1v1 matchup that I really had circled here was Blake Buchanan and Oscar Clough. Just really? Because like the people that know, Iowa State wanted Oscar Clough in the portal pretty bad. Purdue gets him. And then, not to say Buchanan was like plan B, but after we didn't get Oscar Clough, that's when we kind of turned the attention to Blake Buchanan. And
he was a pivot. Plan B is, he was a pivot.
I think plan B should have been plan A, because that was kind of, I was like, is Blake Buchanan going to prove like, nah, I was the one? And like Clough, I still think is going to be a great rebounder. He's a good, I mean, anytime you're not playing Iowa State, him and Braden Smith are going to be very successful in the pick and roll. But we just completely took away his game. And then the other, like the big thing was like, are we going to be able to rebound against Purdue? They have Oscar Clough. They have Trey Kaufman-Renn. Otzelberger's team are not known for the rebounding prowess, but like there were so many tip out rebounds. There were so many hustle plays. There were so many like just making it tough and not making anything easy. Matt Painter in his post-game presser, which if you need something to feel good about right now, highly recommend.
Nah, Cyclone Larry, you're not slick. I saw that tweet and I had a good laugh when I read that. If you know, you know.
He's a very kind of like Bill Self. He's been at Purdue long enough where he's just going to say it how it is. And if his team played like shit, he's going to say our team played like shit. And that's just, and Iowa State played really well. And he gave a lot of Iowa State players their flowers. And like, including, he said they stole our spirit. He was like, they came into our place. They whooped us. Our team didn't want to be out there in the second half. And, like, I think the number one guy that was bothered was Trey Kaufman-Renn.
Yeah.
Like, he did not want to be in the post in the second half of that game. He was just like, screw that. I'm getting the shit beat out of me. Like, Killian Toure's picking up at half court. Like,
and I can't dribble.
Get me out. Like, I don't want to be here anymore. And he was the one, he, like, had that terrible ball interference goaltending. And then, like, immediately wanted it reviewed. In real time, I was like, dog, that ball was, like, halfway over the rim. It wasn't even close. Feel bad that – and then the other thing about this game in the second half, Purdue was out of timeouts at, like, the 16-minute mark in the second half. That's how bad things were going, where Painter like just had to keep stopping the game because Iowa State was forcing them into bad positions. It really was like start to finish. This team is better than the other team.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about Trey Kaufman, I thought you were going to say you were looking forward to Jefferson Kaufman because they have similar builds, similar impact to their teams. And honestly, like, I feel like for a tiny bit of time here, a lot of media members are trying to paint Trey Kaufman as like the next Janai Broom, essentially like the old guy who's going to just dominate this year. And Joshua Jefferson too. I mean, if you look at that individual matchup, but he was 1 for 8 from the field. My Lord.
A bad time.
It smells. It smells in here. I mean, you could, and it's crazy to think like the impact in the second half that they had of like, I don't want to be out here. Like if Matt Painter is saying that post game, people were with their body language, maybe with a few words on the bench, like are saying it. We don't want to play anymore. And they were only down 4. Like that's the difference in the makeup of Iowa State compared to most teams in America is after playing the type of physical basketball for 20 minutes usually if we're in that kind of matchup, say with like a Houston, and we're only down 4, we're very optimistic about that half. Like, okay, we didn't play our best basketball, but we're only down 4. They weren't playing their best basketball, only down 4, and they were like, I'm done. I'm clocking out. And and it's just crazy to see the difference in makeup, and I think that's what's going to pay dividends later on in the season to where, you know, we're not hitting those slumps like we were in previous years where we're losing games that we shouldn't, or, you know, we're losing early in the tournament. Like I think again, this is why I was so adamant on having these hard games in the beginning of the year, because they test you. They tell you where you are at the beginning of the year. And sometimes it wakes up the rest of the country that number 1 ain't number 1. And I know Iowa State ain't number 1 right now, but like you look at the top 4 right now, Purdue was never in that conversation, in my humble opinion, even before Saturday. So sometimes someone just has to go out there and prove it. And Iowa State proved it just fine on Saturday. But man, I'm jittery, man. I'm still jittery. Like my stomach's warm right now. I'm not gonna lie.
I also just like looking at Ken Pom, looking at those top 4 teams. I think without a doubt, the top 4 teams are Arizona, Michigan, Duke, and Iowa State. UConn's really good. I think Houston and Gonzaga could get there. But like those other teams all kind of have some flaws. Yeah. Michigan State might be, but I want to see it before I believe it. Yeah. And like last year, even if Iowa State was healthy, the top 4 seeds in last year's tournament, even if Iowa State was firing on all cylinders with last year's team, like Keyshawn's healthy, you know, we're getting 20 points from Kurt off the bench. I still don't know if that team had the guns for a Florida or a Duke or a Houston or an Auburn, like in a Final Four setting. Yeah. There's not one of those. There's not a team in the country that Iowa State can't compete with. And there really is no reason to like think this team has a ceiling. That was kind of the statement that all like your Matt Norlanders and your John Rothsteins and Ryan Hamer, it was like, this team is good enough to do it. Like this team is, you know, they're that good. And it's a weird feeling. I had it a little bit last year, mostly when I saw just how close we were against Auburn and Maui. And then we didn't lose again until halfway through January. But like, there's something about this team, and the players have talked about it a little bit, just like the connection, the way they're playing. Matt Painter said this too. The guys coming off the bench, they're coming in to kill you. They're not hanging their heads that they're not starting. Nate Heisey is coming off that bench to give you a bad day. Like he was fighting over, like he was getting the best of Trey Kaufman-Renn in the low post. Like he was denying post-entry passes.
Nate Heisey's older sister plays professional hockey. Like the kid grew up getting noogies from a woman. Yeah. He's built different. That'll do something to your psyche. And you're absolutely right. I think like it's so funny because Painter was going off of like previous schools that bench guys were going to, or that other you know people on our roster were going to, and he was like, Nate Heisey, where's he from? Northern Iowa, real program. Like you could tell, like had it not been TJ, I'd have grabbed him, you know. So it's just it's crazy to see, even on a 7. Like there's so much about past the box score about this team, and to see Nate Heisey have a if you didn't watch the game, you just look at the box score, you're like, I don't see the big deal. But if you rewatch the game and you see his impact and see how he can give us a spark, like that was what I initially envisioned him as, and to see him fully embrace the role and fully thrive in that role. And also to see him at this point in December, after TJ openly admitted he did not have a good summer. Like, I think maybe some senioritis, maybe kicked in, and to see him kind of turn it on, lock in, and understand that this is bigger than himself, and to again contribute to winning. It's beautiful to see, and it just says so much about the character of this team. And again, that's a big thing that TJ recruits on. So, man, I'm so giddy. I'm giddy. I'm Josh Giddy. That's how giddy I am.
Actually, I'm going to shout out two more players. Dominic Nelson. I actually want to shout out Tom Turner. As soon as Dominic Nelson subbed in, Tom Turner's like, I really like Dominic Nelson's driving ability in this game. What does Dominic Nelson do? Like the first 3 times he touches the ball, goes full speed at the rim. Like, got fouled, lays it in. Like, he had so much aggression coming off the bench. And I'm sure the coaches are like, buddy, you take that ball and you go to the basket. Like, don't let anything stop you. Like, he just had, like, a lot of times you hear a green light with like a shooter. He had the green light to attack the rim like he was mad at it. Like, they were like, go straight there and don't think twice.
He had the green light to drive.
Right. And he did. I see what you did there. And then the other one, this is like at the end of the half, Jamarian Bateman, actually a couple things. So Purdue is trying to basically dribble out the clock and go into halftime. Nate Heisey says, to hell with that, forces like a trap at the top of the key, just totally leaves his guy wide open in the corner to do this, and like totally messes up Purdue's timing of the play. They're kind of in scramble mode, throw a bad shot. We get the ball back with like 7 seconds. Jamarian's pushing it up the floor, probably could have forced a tough 3, dishes it to Milan. God, if that shot would have gone in. But it was just like everything that led up to that. And then Milan getting a perfect look at the buzzer. It doesn't go in, but it was still like, that was just, we were doing all the right things to give ourselves good position. Yeah. And even though that shot doesn't go in, it was like, oh my God, we're going to lose by 2. And if that would have gone in, we would have won by 1. And I was like, oh, great. Now we're going to win by 12 instead of 9. Like, I felt really good about the first half. I was like, I really did, like, we were kind of taking it to them. I think we're going to be fine.
No, and honestly, like, I don't know. It's weird because, like, just the confidence that people were playing with was just like really telling. Like, I think Purdue's biggest advantage is, to most teams, they're the soft ones. They're never like the bad guys. They're always trying to pull off the upset, i.e. last year when they played Houston. Like, I think they're always given the perception of like they're the ragtag bunch that's trying to do the unthinkable. And it's just funny to see the usual ragtag bunch, how they respond to an even bigger ragtag bunch of folks, where they seem like, again, little things like that. Heisey leaving his man to go trap the ball handler at the top of the key. Like, that is something that they're not used to, because everyone's like, all right, Purdue's used to like this passive, disciplined offense. Like, let's let them do that. And if they kill us by the 3, or Braden Smith just puts on a passing clinic, so be it. It seems like the only teams who can really like say, nah, we're not letting that happen, is like a Tennessee. And even not, I don't even want to give Tennessee that much credit this year, because they're very kind of this year.
They're not what they were last year.
Exactly. But like, put it again, an example like us and Houston, like they're just two teams with DNA that's like, nah, like, we know you're the ragtag bunch, and we're going to treat you like a ragtag bunch. Yeah. And again, it's insane to see like just the intensity, the execution from an offensive and defensive standpoint. Like, it was just awesome. Like, there's no other word I can use outside of awesome. Saturday was awesome. And don't even get me started on what them boys in blue did in Lansing. So that's a conversation for another day. But it was, man, I had never been that satisfied with my team playing on a game day, and I was just glad we were able to do it in front of the entire country.
And if there's one thing, I've heard so many good things about Mackey. I've never been. There's one moment in the second half. I think Purdue was on like a little mini 4-0 run. It was 50-40. And I've been to Hilton Coliseum enough times. Purdue got this thing within 10. They had a little bit of momentum. All of the like people in the bowl, like the farmers and like the 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds, they're all like standing up to do the like, all right, if we're going to do a run, now's the time to do it. Like Hilton just kind of like simultaneously stands up and starts clapping, and you're like, did I miss something?
Yeah.
Mackey didn't do it. They were just sitting down over there. And I don't know if they like expected to win and they just got punched in the mouth and they were like shaken up. But I was like, okay, like if you're the arena that you're talking about, like I've seen Hilton in this spot and it's louder and scarier and bigger. And like also being an Iowa State fan, we don't really lose at Hilton by 23 points all that often either. No. But I was just, I don't know. I was expecting a little bit more of like, okay, here they come. Like Purdue's going to make a run. And then they just never did in the second half. I think like that 4-0 run is as close as it got.
Yeah. And to think like you go on a 4-0 run, like just two layups, like, so you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah. No, there's not.
But that's the point where like Hilton is like, yeah, like now we are going to
There is a chance.
Yeah. And then the other team is like, why the hell are they clapping? We're up by 10. And it's like, it's
what do they know that we don't?
Yeah.
No, and that's another thing too, is there's a lot of similarity when things are going good in both arenas. There's a lot of similarities in Mackey and Hilton. But one thing that I know between the student discourses of each university, there's a debate on who stole the Juicy Wiggle, who. Yeah, Purdue did a very vanilla Juicy Wiggle when they made the Final Four, like with Zach Edey and all those guys, and it would have been hilarious if they did it like just out of school spirit, and that's when the camera guy chooses to like zoom in, and they're doing it, but they're crying. It's just like a very unenthusiastic Juicy Wiggle. Nothing's juicy about it. In fact, it's a dry wiggle, and then like there's nothing from Iowa State that you can take that ain't like it. I think there's some irony behind that all, where you know they think we took their flow and then we walked into the crib, stomped on the carpet with our shoes full of mud, and then left, and then just again hopped on the iPad and called it a Saturday.
By the way, Samantha Lipsey, a great TikTok follow. That is
yeah.
He was just posted up, iPad, chilling.
Well, I saw the three steps of Saturday for Taman Lipsey. It was I'm giving it to the #1 team in the country. I hop on the bus in my heavy jacket and I'm on field of 68 talking to Jeff Goodman and the boys. Again, very nonchalant. Like, yeah, I mean, Braden Smith, he was just, it's just another day in the office. Like, bro, smile. Like, come on, man. And then you go home and he's like on his iPad eating like Ritz crackers. I'm like, dude, he's one of us. He's one of us. It's so nice to see athletes humanized and behind the scenes, because you just see how, again, in order to perform at that high level, to not be rattled in that environment, you just have to treat it like another day. And it really is refreshing to see. As TJ evolves as a coach, his rosters are evolving to be equipped to those moments. And again, just really good weekend. Really good weekend.
That's kind of the other statement that I'm hearing kind of the nationwide is like, they have an offense now. Like Iowa State used to be the team. They're going to muck it up. They're going to make it ugly. They're going to win 45-41. And now it's like, no, we got 3 guys averaging 18. We're going to make your life hell, and we're going to score 80 points on the other end. Good morning. Like that's,
and you're going to like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wake the hell up, and this is what it is. And it's just like this team probably is the best offense we've seen out of a TJ group so far. And I was pumping the brakes, and I have been all like, I was like, let's play Purdue. I want to see us play a team that is a legit national title contender, and then I'll start talking crazy. Well, we just beat them by 23. And I really don't see why Iowa State shouldn't be the team to beat right now in the country. Michigan did some great things, but Iowa State, Arizona, Duke, Michigan, those are the 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D.
Yeah. Well, and again, you think about those top four. I think team to beat is Michigan, only because like every year there is a villain in college basketball, and whether it's intentional, unintentional, somebody rubs the.
They're called Duke, Nigel. That's
no,
what it is every year.
No, because last year, no, cut it out. Because last year you said this is actually the most likable Duke team I've seen in years. So it's the same team this year, just with Cameron Boozer instead of Cooper. Anywho, I digress. I think the comment that we brought up last episode or 2 episodes ago, where we talked about Michigan and the statements they were making about winning the Players Era tournament, I watched their game against Rutgers, which again, not a competitive basketball game, got very chippy at the end, like had to break up like 2 scuffles just because Rutgers was like, to hell with this. I want to fight. To hell with basketball. I'm going to punch you in the face. I'm so frustrated. Michigan has a lot of tools, like, and not tools on the basketball court, like tools as human beings.
Yeah, like guys you don't like.
And I think if you're going to paint, like, don't get too caught up in nostalgia when it comes to the easy to hate teams like a Duke or any other blue blood, a UConn, if you will. I think the most hated basketball team right now in the country is sitting right there north of Purdue, and they wear yellow and gold. That's the same color, yellow and blue. And again, I think Michigan is the team to beat off of not only talent, but also like who they embody. They have Christian Laettner, JJ Redick, like almost aura, not even as like one player, but as a whole team. And when a whole team embodies that, very easy to hate you. So again, already not the biggest fan of Michigan, but again, if we're going to talk about a team to beat off of skill and pride from this year and this year alone, it's the Michigan Wolverines. And I'm very excited because I know Duke plays them in February. They have a very competitive schedule in general. But again, I would love to see a team like Michigan, who's already talking pretty loud and, being a little brash, a little too brash, in my opinion, in December, play a team like Iowa State. Like I see them win a game like they won on Saturday, and I just want more. Like, to hell with Long Beach State. Give me Houston. Give me an out of conference at Hilton right now. Roll the balls out 9 p.m. Let's get it. Like, just throw the toolbox at me, baby. Like, I really want to see them test their limits, and I hope we can run into these elite teams come April, come late March, because I think they can battle with the best of them, like you said.
Yeah, and like, speaking of Michigan, Nigel, man, I wish Michigan and Iowa State were in the same Feast Week tournament. It would have been really cool to see 2 of the best teams in the country play for a championship instead of playing the team that won by the most point differential bullshit. If only Iowa State and Michigan could have been in Las Vegas at the same time and they would have been able to play in a championship. Idiots.
And to think they, like, forget the format. Michigan caught a break. You dodged us. Yeah. That could have been you. That could have been you, Michigan. And
you see what we did
talking like you,
Purdue?
talking like you just did something special. Man, you won an AAU tournament. Get out of my face. Enjoy the money.
Freaking Michigan,
man.
So Purdue was awesome. That is one of my favorite wins, and also just like the time it came at being a Cyclone fan. You couldn't have picked a better day of like, thank God, of just like a moment of like, it felt like an exhale from like the whole Cyclone fan base. I'm like, okay, like it's okay. Like we're going to be okay. And it just was like exactly what the doctor prescribed. But as you said, like getting the toolbox thrown at us, now you're playing against one of your biggest rivals at Hilton Thursday with a new coach. Bennett Sturtz is like a preseason All-American. And, they've looked good. They kind of got tossed around by Michigan State a little bit, but they beat Ole Miss.
Kind of?
Yeah, they
got tossed. They got tossed like salad.
They got whooped. And the one thing that I was really curious about Iowa is, are they going to continue to play the style of basketball that McCollum did at Drake last year, which is I haven't talked to McCollum, but I think his whole line of thinking is like, if we have the ball, they can't score. So their average time of possession is like 26, 27 seconds, which is insane. It's the slowest tempo by far of almost any team in the country. And they're still doing that. And when you're playing against, Indiana State or Valparaiso, that's one thing. But when you go against a team like Michigan State that has athletes on athletes on athletes and length and defense and rebounding, if you're basically giving yourself one look with less than 10 seconds, it's going to be hard to convert that on a regular basis. And we saw Purdue move the ball like it was a hot potato. That's not really what Iowa does. Iowa's going to hold on to it. They're going to wait. They're going to milk the clock. And then they're going to try to get in action with the last 10 seconds. And Iowa State's defense is really good. And that's not to say Iowa isn't going to score against us, but they had a really hard time scoring against Michigan State. I'm not sure if did they get to 50? I think they finished as 55.
I don't remember.
They didn't score a lot of points. Yeah. And Iowa State analytically has a better defense than Michigan State does.
Yeah. And the thing, too, you got to think about is it's real easy to do that in Carver. And if this game was in Carver on next Thursday, or was it this Thursday or next Thursday?
This Thursday.
Is it this Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. Long day. Honestly, that type of offense, A, pisses me off, but sure. B, I think that it's easy to do when you're at home. Like you said, playing in Indiana State, playing any mid-major that you have at the beginning of the year. But when you have to play that same type of tempo, or the Bennett Sturts pick and roll game on the road, Michigan State was kind of a foreshadowing of what could happen in Ames. And again, I don't know if they're ready for that environment. I being outside of maybe beating one of the best teams in the country at Kansas, Houston, during the Big 12 season. There is no louder Hilton is than when we're playing Iowa, and when we're playing well. Yeah. I remember vividly TJ's first year when we beat them, and it was the biggest deal in the world. Tristan Enaruna hit a three on the wing. Dog. I was in the student section. the little metal part of the back of the rim that clicks sometimes when you hit a three. It clicks. I heard that click, and I didn't hear anything else after. I just saw people screaming, and I had an out-of-body experience. I was like, what happened? I blacked out. What happened? It is that type of environment, and I don't know how cohesive and how tamed that offense is going to be in that type of environment. Plus, again, Iowa's played some athletes so far in this year, but to see Killian Toure on Sturts, I already fear it's going to be breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 3-course meal. I mean, 90 feet. He's going to smell what he had for breakfast. He's going to guard him off the bus. He's going to watch him change. He's going to warm up with him. He's going to walk out with him in the starting lineup, and then he's going to guard him for 40 minutes. And it's going to be that type of night. And again, I don't think anyone's going to have it easy. God forbid. There's a ton of Iowa-born kids playing for Iowa. People do not hold back in the student section, in the crowd. If they know something about you, they're going to let you know. Mm-hmm. I remember vividly, and I may have been guilty for this, but Monica, what's her name? On Caitlin's team. Cesano. She's at the free throw line. Got real quiet. Bro, every time she shot the ball, I was like, moo. It's that level of petty. I remember sometime, when Lee Fearbach came back, and again, this is women's game, but again, it's still the same passion falls. When Jordan Bohannon left his shoes at midcourt, the heat he got the next year.
3 for 11.
Yeah, man. We let that boy have it. It's on top of the abuse that one could consider you could get on the court. It's going to be a different type of verbal abuse on the bench, during warm-ups, in the game, at the free throw line. It's going to be hell on earth for Iowa. And I just don't think they're ready for that. I really don't.
And also, students are going to be camping out, I think, at the latest Wednesday night. Someone might get there Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
I would love it if someone got there tomorrow night, Tuesday night. But like
someone's probably camping right now.
They could be. They could be. It's good. They're going to be cold. They're going to be angry. And I'm so happy that like there will never be a Cyhawk when the students aren't there. That's another great thing about this rivalry is like there's no shot that it happens during Christmas break. And you're going to get a full angry Hilton. Also, this like Hilton's going to have so much juice. You just beat Purdue by 23 with what's going on in the football program. Men's and women's basketball and wrestling is like that's where everybody's like pumped up right now. That's what's left, folks. And I fully expect Hilton to just be off the chain on Thursday.
Well, and again, that's the thing too. To see, like again, I can't imagine the basketball program being that affected by Matt Campbell's departure. However, just like you said, like the fans are in an emotional roller coaster because this is a guy that they've grown up with now for 9 years. And just to kind of take that hit as a university to lose that influential of a coach to a bigger and more prestigious program, it sucks, you know. And again, like the beautiful poetry in it of like life punches you in the gut. How will you respond? Let's go beat the best basketball team in the nation, and then let's turn around and play our rivals at home. Oh my God, who wrote this script? Yeah. Who wrote this script? You deserve an Oscar. This is crazy, bro. The transition is unreal. It's like a DJ who just blends the perfect songs together. It's like, yo, I wasn't ready for this. Why am I crying in the club right now? Like, it's beautiful. And it makes me so excited for Thursday. And I hope it's worse than TJ's first year where we just kicked the shit out of Iowa. Like, I hope it's bad. Like, I hope people consider getting into business or sales or, you know, marketing after that game from Iowa. I really hope if we can take Purdue's soul, you better take Iowa's soul, throw it away, and never give it back. Because we've been giving it to them in everything this year. Like, we beat them in wrestling, bro. Like, it's just been a different year when it comes to the rivalry. And again, I'm just very excited to see if we can put the cherry on top and put those boys in the dirt on Thursday evening.
The other thing that I'm really looking forward to, if Iowa wants to handle the ball for 26 seconds and give us 26 seconds to turn them over, we'll see.
We'll only need eight or seven.
We'll see about that. I really think the best way to beat Iowa State is get a shot off in the first 10 seconds.
Just chuck.
Phoenix
chuck
Sun,
and pray.
7 seconds or less. If you don't shoot it right now, you're probably going to turn it over. Just shoot it. And
even then, it's like, are you going to get the ball up the court?
Right.
Toure is going to be in your pocket. I don't know. It's very questionable. So who's to say? You know what I mean?
And Nigel, we're running out of time, but we didn't even have time to talk about putting up 132 points on the Alcorn State Braves. But
not much to say about that.
Sometimes that's just how it goes. There's something about a bug in a windshield. Momcilovic made 25 threes that game. Don't look it up. That's a true stat.
Yeah.
And man, and honestly, after that game, I was like, great, we made every 3-point shot, and now we're going to go 0 for 14 against Purdue.
Exactly. Well, and I thought specifically for Milan, he was going to have an off night or off day just because you used all your juice too early in the week, and he was like, I got some more in the tank. We're good.
Yeah,
we're good. Chill.
Relax.
Just trust. And I'm gonna trust come Thursday because again, full weekend of rest, a lot of time to study that film. Of the slow-paced offense, and immediately I can only imagine the psycho in TJ thinking like, all right, they're gonna try to hold the ball for 26 seconds. Here's how we can disrupt it in 5.
Yeah,
like when someone already has the mentality of let's run nah, bro, you lost already.
Right.
You came in here with the wrong formula, and I hope again we can expose it. I hope our defense can be 7 seconds or less. You know, so hopefully we can do what we need to do on Thursday and continue business as usual. Also, Oscar Clough, I can only imagine, like, there's a voice in the back of his head at the end of that game, like, should have went to Ames. Should have went to Ames, man.
Maybe that extra 500,000 NIL wasn't worth getting beat by 23 at the home base.
No, it never is. It never is. Money comes and goes. Wins and losses, they stay forever.
You can't buy defense. You can't buy wins. And
Also,
if one day you can, college football will probably find a way to do it. But as for now, you can't buy wins in college sports.
Also, did you peep Blake Buchanan's dunk in the second half, the alley-oop? Did it not seem like he was floating? Like there was a glitch?
Well, was that the one where, like, it took it a while for the ball to actually go?
Yeah, like
it hung up there.
Like he grabbed, it was literally something out of 2K. He dunked the ball,
Right.
but the ball stayed in the air and then went through the hoop. And I'm like, what? Am I tweaking? What just happened? Did we just glitch in the Matrix? Like, what's going on here? I just wanted to point that out because, again, from a numbers perspective, Blake Buchanan outplayed Oscar Clough. But to have that highlight, man.
Real nice.
They're doing 2K stuff out there, man. It's unreal. Hopefully we can continue it on Thursday.
Yeah, here's to hoping. Iowa on Thursday. We're gonna try to get a kind of a reaction Cyhawk pod after that game. And then you got 3 cupcakes. It's Eastern Illinois, Long Beach State. Forgetting Houston Christian. Houston Baptist?
No, Houston Christian.
Okay. I think those are 3 teams before Big 12 play starts. Hawkeyes are next. Maybe, Nigel, I need you to talk me out of this. I also know there were Iowa State fans that are just jaded to hell. We were up 19 against Purdue with 4 minutes left, and they're like, we're going to lose this game. The Cyclone pessimist in me is still being like, look, I know we're a better team than Iowa. Every metric, every eye test, all of it. We're a better team, without a doubt. But there's still something where it's like, I don't know, we just beat the number 1 team. Now we're coming home.
Cut it out.
Okay. That's what I needed. I
don't want to hear it, man. We don't need any of that.
I love it.
I'm fully confident in the boys on Thursday and what they're going to do. And I can only hope that they don't make me look stupid because there's a lot of digital footprint now of me saying a lot of heinous things, from moo to we're going to be in your pocket when you get off the bus. I'm going to look really stupid. So please guys, just don't do that to me.
Don't make Nigel look stupid. Nobody here wants to do that.
No. Why would you?
Right.
The reply to me, don't make me look stupid, should just be one thing. Yes, chef.
Let him cook.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
Cook. Nigel, do you got anything before we get out of here?
No, I think I got everything on my chest, but just really excited to, again, continue to see where this team can go from here. I mean, went from middle of the pack in the AP to now top 4. If the season ended today, we're a 1 seed. It's awesome to see. But again, got a lot to look forward to come Big 12 season. We put our league on notice, so there's going to be no setbacks. I mean, teams are going to bring it to us every day, and now we got to get used to being able to play with a target on our back because usually it's real easy to be, the team that is being the hunter, but when you're the huntee, it's the pressure gets a little heavier. So hopefully we can handle that pressure going forward and continue the good stuff.
Bring the fight. Taman Lipsey's best point guard in the country. Debate a wall. Go Cyclones. Beat the Hawks. Beat them by a lot.
Yeah. Ruin their day.
Yeah.